Keep a close eye on the markets for you throughout the course of this morning, as we have, of course, throughout the weekend as well. In fact, one of our headlines this morning is the Middle East stock markets mostly rose yesterday in Sunday trading. Egypt climbing nearly 3%, Kuwait Muscat also rising as well. And in fact, the markets here showing a little bit of resilience at present. The UAE's stock market indices proving to be resilient in the face of uncertainties around the world. We're going to get more take on this one now with the Chief Investment Officer at Century Financial. Vijay Valecha has been kind enough to join us live on the line this morning. Vijay, good to have you on board. Thanks very much indeed for joining us.
Good morning. How are you?
Very well indeed. What are with your reading of the UAE stock market at the moment, in positive territory, key drivers behind the recent rebound?
Well, we're seeing a lot of key factors. The major one, of course, being an oil rebound. We have seen oil prices hit low times, and then from April we saw the oil pricing move up. This month has been a stellar performance for oil, and what we are seeing is that oil will actually take forward most of the GCC indices.
In terms of investor sentiment at the moment, good numbers coming through with regards to foreign direct investment. We saw those come through over the weekend as well. Investor sentiment still high?
The investor sentiment in UAE is extremely high. The DFM, especially the DFM consumer confidence, has been at a 12-year high. We saw that reflect on also the DFM index. The DFM index hit a 12-year high in May. The rebound from the April 10th was so spectacular that we actually hit a 12-year high. We actually are just 500 points behind on the DFM index from actually making a 15-year high. And once the 6100 barrier is broken, which is a 2008 high, we don't know if what sky could be the limit. We are seeing the sentiment increasing, not just from the institutional side, but also from the retail side. A lot of foreign direct investments also coming into UAE, and the things are progressing in a much better fashion right now.
In terms of that momentum, and obviously there is momentum in the markets, is it sector specific?
So there is sectors which are doing really well. So what we have seen since this year is that we saw a huge dip come in March, and we saw a big recovery in April. That recovery was majorly in sectors like real estate and banking. So of course the higher alpha stocks like the Emirates NBD, the Emaar have done really well. But given that situation, that might not be the case for the coming quarters. We might see the sector rotation shift towards different sectors. We do believe that logistics, transport is going to take over for the rest of the year. The first half was pretty much banking and pretty much to do with real estate. I think the second half will be more of logistics, insurance and transport.
What about retail? Obviously coming into the summer months at the moment, a lot of people heading to the malls as well. Retail performing well?
Retail performing well, given the summer vacation starting now, so we'll actually have to see what kind of a hit retail takes in this quarter. This is generally the worst quarter that retail sees, is the Q3. So this is where we have to be more mindful about retail. But yes, given the fourth quarter is where we actually start getting into retail, where retail actually is the strongest part is in the last quarter of the year.
So what are the top performing stocks and sectors at the moment?
Well, we've seen the large caps do really well. We have seen Taka up 10% since the fall that came in. We have seen Fab almost 30% from the fall that came in. That has given actually the best return to almost all clients. And in the same way in the DFM, the Emirates NBD has given a 27% hike since the fall. So these are the big names. Emaar has moved up 22%. Most of the other real estate companies, Aldar has done really well also. These are the sectors that have done well. These are stocks that will continue to outperform. But we'll have to see how the situation works out, and especially how oil prices move forward in the next quarter.
Yeah, obviously due to current situation in the region, a lot of eyes on the markets at the moment. What about the earnings season expectations as well? Have you got any insight on that?
Well, the earnings Is going to be a good one because honestly speaking, we have seen the tourism increase a lot this quarter. The numbers should be good. We have seen a 35% growth in net earnings in the DFM in the last quarter. The expectation is pretty much a 36 to 37% growth on net earnings this quarter as well over the entire index in general. That is what the expectations should be, and that's where I think the markets should be outperforming. Given that, I think July 8th becomes an important date as well because the future earnings quite rely on the tariffs that are going to be put across the world. So the 90-day pause ends and what awaits is probably volatility in these sectors.
And what is the house view at Century Financial, Vijay, with regards to advice for clients at the moment in terms of midterm risk and opportunities?
Well, I think there's a lot of opportunities in the market. People, I think, are a little cautious right now, trying to sit on cash, which ideally might not be the best situation. There will be investors who will be getting into a more safe zone right now, which is understandably so. There are a lot of safe sectors in the DFM and ADX. There are a lot of companies that give out a very high dividend, as well as are companies which are quite kind of a defensive sector. There are a lot of stocks like the Deva and everything where, people can park their money and be on a safer side and on a high dividend yield when times are uncertain. And when times do get certain and easier, it is much easier to get into different sectors. So it is much more advice for investors to be cautious at this time, but at the same time not to be sitting on cash. Bond markets are doing really well in the UAE. A lot of good companies, a lot of government bonds giving out 6 to 8% on the coupons on the bonds. So it's a good time to also be parking into bonds. The situation can actually lead to interest rate cuts also, and that will actually be very, very positive for the bond sector.
Appreciate it, Vijay. Really appreciate your insight this morning. Vijay Valecha there, the Chief Investment Officer from Century Financial.